An Israeli raid in the city of Nablus, with Palestinian reports of special forces surrounding a house in an exchange of fire between local militants and Israeli troops. Reports of dozens of injuries, 4 in critical condition, and reports of deaths. And one of those deaths, reportedly, Al-Aqsa Martyrs Brigade's leader, Ibrahim Nablus, known as the Lion of Nablus, who's been wanted by the IDF for several months. The IDF conducting multiple raids this year to try and capture him, but each time he managed to escape. His most recent public appearance was on July 24th at the funerals for the 2 Palestinians killed after an Israeli operation there. For more on all this, let's bring in Ariel Osaran, I-24 News Middle East correspondent. Ariel, we know there are some conflicting reports. The IDF saying that this target was assassinated, but Palestinian reports saying that he was not. What do we know?
Well, I mean, the fact that he survived 2 previous attempts for arrest means that we should tread lightly on this. Now, as you described, yes, Israeli official statement saying that Al-Nabulsi was killed in this raid. Palestinian unofficial sources are saying that while there are 2 confirmed Palestinians killed in these clashes this morning between IDF forces and armed militants in the old city of Nablus. They're saying that Al-Nabulsi was, in fact, he is still alive. He arrived at the hospital alive, and he has been resuscitated. Now, while the final information as to his situation will emerge, I believe in the coming minutes and hours, but if we take a step back as to the prominence of this wanted man. He's been described as the Lion of Nablus. He was the commander of the Nablus Brigade in the West Bank. You know, we talk a lot about, especially in recent days, about the different factions, Hamas, PIJ, Fatah, but what we've seen emerge in recent months and years is a more geographic type of units that you can have. The more famous one is the Jenin Brigade, where you have members from the different groups participating, working together under one umbrella. That was the same here in Nablus. Al-Nabulsi was the commander of the Nablus Brigade. Now, according to Israeli officials, Nabulsi was responsible for a series of shooting attacks against IDF forces as well as civilians, and during the raid, a large amount of explosive and weapons were found in the home. Now, as he was being besieged this morning by Israeli forces, he managed to release an audio recording which would help bolster his public status, whether he is dead or alive. In this recording, he called on his Palestinian brothers to take care of the homeland after his passing, to not forsake their weapons. He said, quote, "I am surrounded. I won't forsake my weapons. I'm going to be martyred. Praying for me." And in fact, moments after initial reports of his death, mosques in the area of the old city of Nablus some of them called for people to go out to the rooftops and pray for him. Others were calling for people to go down to the streets and clash with the forces. According to the IDF, all Israeli forces have since left Nablus, but this would show just the prominence of this individual and the potential spark that this could ignite in a very tense and sensitive ceasefire that has been brokered, albeit with another group, the PIJ in Gaza. But since they're trying to tie together all the different arenas, one should not be too surprised if this in some way flares up the area.
That's a good segue into my next question. We do know that the raid and arrest of Bassem Saadi, a PIJ commander, in Jenin last week is what sparked Operation Breaking Dawn. What can we expect from Fatah, what can we expect from the other factions at this time?
Well, so far we haven't, because there's still the fog of battle is still surrounding the situation of Ibrahim Nablus. We still haven't heard anything official from the groups, but already the Palestinian presidency had issued a statement this morning saying, quote, "We have reached a dangerous stage where the decisions of the council are on the table, and Israel and the entire region will pay the price." And so if we're seeing such a escalatory rhetoric from the Palestinian presidency, we shouldn't expect to hear anything less from the armed groups, not just in the West Bank, but in the Gaza Strip. Now, again, albeit the brigades, the geographic brigades that we talked about, combine a bunch of different factions, but officially Nablus belonged to the Al-Aqsa Martyrs Brigade. That's the Fatah military wing, not Hamas or PIJ, and so this could serve those groups as an opportunity to still uphold the ceasefire, but Israeli security officials are definitely tense this morning.
Ariel Osaran, I-24 News Middle East correspondent, keeping up with the breaking news out of Nablus this morning. Thank you.
Thanks.